got a speaker in the back that I wired up with extension cord, and got an 8-track in the glove box. Got 2 8-tracks, Atlantic Star and Shalimar. That's how we jamming. That's how it's going down. Got 2 8-tracks, man. Yeah, 8-track just sitting in the glove box. Now, I told you. If you ain't about 45, almost 50, this don't mean nothing to you. It don't mean nothing to you. But I got that car. And I understood when I got through washing it and cleaning it out, I understood that I done dried it off, put a little air freshener, a little carpet fresh in the back seat on the floor so it'll smell pretty nice, and then put a quart of oil in it. Got to put a whole quart. Don't even measure it. Don't even put a whole quart in there so I can go pick up my girl. We can ride a little while. Okay, but fast forward. Now, got a 2024, by the grace of God, LS 500. Air work, heat work, sunroof work, got tint on the windows, got all kind of buttons and gadgets and stuff. It's stuff in that car I don't even know what it do. I almost drive down the street in that car and scared to touch some stuff because I think it might throw me out while we move. But God has brought me a long way. And God has been good to me. And now, wasn't nothing wrong with Lexi Pearl when I got rid of her. That's that 17 Pearl white Lexus. Wasn't nothing wrong with Lexi Pearl. And Lexi Pearl, God had blessed me to be through paying for her. But God blessed me to get another car, and I'm grateful. But I have not forgot. I have not forgot that 1969 Chevy Impala lime green photo. Have not forgot it. Because that's where he brought me from. And I would be less than grateful, less than appreciative to complain and murmur. This car is nice, but I wish, this car is nice, but that Impala burn regular gas. This car take premium. That Impala gas was $1.25 a gallon. This car takes premium at $4 a gallon. Because we can always find something to complain about. Sister Mac fixed breakfast and put it on the table. Why don't I just sit down and eat it? And then tell her, baby, thank you for fixing my breakfast. God has brought me now. I can't even tell you how much a quart of oil costs now. Used to buy it by the case. Because I don't even check the oil in the car now. Because he has brought me. All I'm trying to point out, and I'm not bragging because I believe God for a Lexus, and all you believe him for is a Chevy. That ain't my fault. And I'm not bragging because God has blessed me and I don't have to hide that fact. But I'm simply saying, don't be found ungrateful. Let us get to the text as I heard. Our complaints reveal our ungratefulness about God's provisions. The Bible says, Numbers chapter 11, beginning at verse 4. Now this ought to tickle you, but the riffraff. Now that sounds like something I'd say, but it's right here. The riffraff among them had a strong craving for other food. The Israelites wept again. That means this ain't the first time they've done that. And said, now listen to this. The Israelites. Who are the Israelites? God's chosen people. Those that belong to him. Church folk. Church folk. The Israelites. Let's translate that to today. Church folk. Because they were God's chosen people. They wept again. And then asked the question, you crying? And in the midst of your tears, you got a question. Who will feed us meat? I'm on 120 now, Robert. But you can find it in your Bible. I'm sorry. New Jack folks. Numbers chapter 11, verse 4 on your phone. Yeah. We remember the free fish we ate in Egypt, along with the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now our appetite is gone. There's nothing to look at but this manual. Moses heard the people, family after family, weeping at the entrance of their tents. The Lord was very angry. Moses was also provoked. So Moses asked the Lord, why have you brought such trouble on your servant? Why are you angry with me, and why do you burden me with all these people? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth so you should tell me, carry them at your breast, as a nursing mother carries a baby, to the land that you swore to give their ancestors? Where can I get meat to give all these people? For they are weeping to me. Give us meat to eat. I can't carry all these people by myself. They are too much for me. If you are going to treat me like this, be careful what you ask God. If you are going to treat me like this, please, 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 kill me right now if I have found favor with you, and don't let me see my misery anymore. Kill me now, Lord, if I got any goodness with you. Kill me right now. Be careful what you ask God. Now that's our first outline. Let's go back and take a look, and I'm hurrying to get through. The riffraff. The riffraff. And see, now, I'm a curious person, and my wife tells me sometimes I'm too analytical. But I needed to know who is God, because all scripture was written by men inspired to write by God. Okay, so I needed to know, Pop. I needed to know. I was curious. Who is God calling riffraff? Why is God calling his people riffraff? I was curious. I was concerned. I needed to know. And so I went back and looked that up. You're going to like this part. I told you. It break your heart. It's funny. It's sad. I went back and looked that up. The riffraff was, no, let me give it to you this way. Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. Got it. When God told Moses, Pop just got through talking about it not too long ago because we in Exodus. God told Moses, go to Pharaoh. It's in the text. It's in the text. Go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh to do what? Let my people go. Go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And Moses did. Now, he made a bunch of excuses. Pop went over that with us. But he went to Pharaoh and said, God said, let my people go that they may go and worship me. And so finally, Pharaoh got his act together and he decided to do what God told him to do, and he let God's people go. The Israelites, God's chosen people, the believers in the true and the living God. They packed up their grip. They got their stuff together. Pharaoh even gave them some stuff so that they could move on out and God would leave him alone. And God's chosen people, here it comes, God's chosen people packed up, decided to move forward under the leadership of Moses, God's chosen man, and some stragglers came with him. Some stragglers. They wasn't Israelites. They wasn't God's chosen people. They were basically others. God's chosen people packed up. That's who God sent for. Let me bring it around the corner. I go by to pick up my son because he need a ride home. He at school. And when I get there to pick him up, it's 3 other guys. I don't even know them. They are not my children. I'm not obligated to do nothing for them. But they see that Michael's daddy came to get him. And they see him pull up in this truck with plenty of room. And they say, we ain't got no ride home, but we want to go home. And they say, well, he live in the neighborhood, so we'll just catch a ride. And Mike come to the truck and he say, Daddy, I know these guys, and they just want to ride to our house. They want to just ride with us so that they can get home. I don't know them. They don't belong to me. They not my children. The riffraff. They didn't belong to God. God didn't tell Pharaoh, let my people and the riffraff go. But they decided they're going to tag along. They decided, hey, look, they leaving, and they leaving blessed and highly favored. Everybody want to roll with a winner. So they decide, since y'all got plenty, since y'all looking good and leaving, we're going to roll with y'all. And what did God call them? Riffraff. Now, when you look at this passage, it's the riffraff that starts complaining. It's the riffraff that starts murmuring. It's the riffraff that starts asking all these crazy questions, because the riffraff don't know God. The riffraff don't belong to God. The riffraff, God is not obligated to do anything for them because they are not his chosen people. And it's the riffraff that starts the complaining. It's the riffraff that starts complaining among the believers that belong to God and then provoke them to get on the bandwagon. Let me help you with that. I pick up Michael and decide to give his friends a ride because they live in the neighborhood. And they get in the truck and they start telling him, hey, Mike, tell your daddy we hungry. Hey, Michael, tell your daddy we need to stop and get something to drink. Okay, now, he ain't said nothing. He understands because when he called me and said, Dad, I need you to come get me, I told him, okay, I'm going to come get you. And your mama almost through with dinner. And she cooked this, and this, and some stuff that you like. So he understands that provision has been made. He understands that I always take care of him. I've always provided for him. But we pick up these stragglers that don't belong to me, these kids that I don't even know, and hey, Michael, tell your daddy we need to get something to drink. Okay, how much money you got? What you got on it? Yeah, you hungry? You thirsty? What am I saying? Glad you asked the question. Be careful who tagging along with you. Be careful who's in your group. Be careful, especially who you listening to. God didn't start you with a 69 Impala, lime green, photo. But he started you with something and brought you to where you are today. Be careful how you let somebody get in your car and you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that your credit was tore up from the floor up. You know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you didn't have a nickel to your name. But yet you went to the dealership because the Spirit of God convicted you to be obedient to God. And when you got there, God had made provision for you. And then you give your homie a ride who don't have a car, and they got the mitigated gall to start complaining. Hey, how come you didn't get a V8 instead of a V6? Hey, how come you didn't get the windows tinted? Hey, how come you don't have a CD player? Now, I started off with they don't even have a car. And you done picked them up and given them a ride, and they get in your car that you have by the grace and goodness of God, and they doing what? Complaining. Be careful, be careful, be careful about picking up the riffraff. Because again, they want to ride. They want to tag along with you. I remember when my son, and I'm rushing through this, I remember when he was going to school and they were going on a senior picnic, getting together somewhere. And a couple of guys said, hey, Michael, we're going to ride with you. Because your daddy always makes sure you got gas in your car, and he makes sure your car don't break down nowhere. See, I said that to say we pick and choose who we want to hang with. Now, you ain't got no car. You got other friends, but now you want to ride with a winner. You want to ride with somebody that you know what? That he got gas in his car, because you ain't got a dime on gas. That his car won't break down. You ain't got a car. But be careful about picking up the riffraff, because it's the riffraff that started the complaining, and God's people then got on board with it. They asked the question, who will feed us meat? Now, you ain't been hungry since you left Egypt, because God has provided manna from heaven for you to eat every day. And you know what? You've been eating and satisfied. You've been eating and satisfied. But here come the riffraff, and now they got the nerve to ask the question, who will feed us meat? You ain't been hungry. You haven't even wanted any meat. Now, all of a sudden, what God has been providing for you since day one, and you 2 years into this journey, now all of a sudden, it ain't good enough. And look at the text. Look at the text. You won't even acknowledge God, because you say, who will feed us meat? Who? Like you have no idea where your provision coming from. Like you have no clue as to how you gonna make it. Child, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my light bill. Who paid it last month? Same God that came through last month, because you got the same check that you done had at the same job for 5 years. And now you got the nerve, because you done let the riffraff hang out. Who gonna provide? Yeah, okay. So as we move on to through our complaints reveal our ungratefulness about God's provision. Because again, we know that it is God that brought us out of Egypt, that brought us out of bondage. It is God that has provided us food throughout this entire journey. And now we got the nerve to throw it back in his face. And we've been complaining because somebody else encouraged us to. This wasn't even our thought. This wasn't even our idea. But somebody else who wasn't even invited to the party done put some thoughts in our head causing us a problem. Who will feed us meat? And so as we move on through this text, we see that now Moses, God's chosen leader. Hold on. Raise your hand. God's chosen leader. Did everybody see that? That's God's chosen leader at the Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church, 1636 North Masters, Dallas, Texas. Right there. That's God's chosen leader. When this church has a problem, he go to God. When this church is in disarray, he go to God. When God has a word for the Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church, God give it to him. And he give it to us. Moses, God's chosen leader. What did Moses say? Read it for yourself when you got nothing else to do. Lord, did I birth these people? Why have you laid this burden on me? Now, Moses has been leading these people for 2 years, and God has instructed and assured Moses that I'm with you. I'm going to get you through it. I will deliver you to a land flowing with milk and honey. I will deliver you to a land of plenty and prosperity. And God has been talking to him. But because he has been around the riffraff and the murmuring, it has affected him. And now he has lost sight because he is still human. Now he has fallen by the wayside. And in this passage, we see that now he goes to God and asks God a question. He goes to God and has doubt. Be careful about your murmuring and complaining, because it will affect more than just you. You see, Pop come to the house sometime, and he always teased me about this one particular chair in my house, because he say, that's where the Holy Ghost hang out right there. Because I told him that when I get up in the morning, that's my place of prayer. That's where I get up in the morning before I do anything else, before I start my work day. I kneel down right there while Sister Mac's still in the bed and have prayer, have communication with God right there in that spot. And so he teased me and tell me about that spot sometime. But be careful about murmuring and complaining, because while I'm talking to God about, Lord, I need you to protect my children. Lord, I need you to keep my wife safe and keep her mind straight. Lord, I got a homeboy that's a little bit sick and I need healing in his life. I cannot, I cannot. I did say I cannot, and I will not get up off my knees from talking to God without saying, Lord, and I need you to look in on Keenan L. Tennyson. I need you to look in on him, massage his heart, ease his burdens. I need you to look in on him, Lord. I don't know if he up yet. I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know who said what to him, but I know you are a God of can. I know you are a heart fixer and a mind regulator. Lord, I need you right now to look in on Keenan L. Tennyson, the shepherd that you have placed over us, the shepherd that you have given me, the friend that you have set aside for me. Lord, look in on him. Whatever he stands in need of, I need you to give it to him. Why? Because I know you are a God of can. Now, I said that to say that I pray for my pastor, but every now and then he comes by, we sit outside, we sit in the house. Hey, man, I don't agree with that. Well, Max, such and such, yeah, Pop, I heard you, but I still don't agree with that. Okay, well, all right. Hey, Pop, how about we do this? How about we just leave that alone and agree to disagree? All right, Mac, we can do that. All right, now let's move on to something. Oh, yeah, Pop, I'm with that. I'm with that. But even I don't watch, this what's going to get you. Even though I don't agree with what he said, don't necessarily like it, what do I need to do to support it? What are you requiring of me? Why? Because God has placed him here as a leader. Pop getting ready to turn 55. I'm already 60. Been here 5 years before he even got here. But God placed him here. And if I cannot support and go along with his leadership, I need to get my wife and go somewhere else. Because if you're going to stay here, quit murmuring and complaining. He got enough to deal with out there in the world with folk. He just got through washing his car, got his armor all down, he's clean, he laying down in the floorboard, leaning. And somebody ride by and throw mud up on it. See, he got enough to deal. Now he frustrated. He got enough to deal with without having to get it in here. I say all the time, at my house, I'm not going to let nobody, I said nobody, come in this house and upset and unnerve my wife. If I ain't got her in chaos and disarray, ain't nobody else going to come in here and do it. He got enough to deal with that he ought not have to deal with murmuring and complaining in here. If you won't pray for him every day, if you ain't there yet, at least don't load his wagon down complaining. At least quit grumbling. If you can't support what he asked you to do, if you ain't on board with the vision that God has given him, then don't say nothing. But don't be murmuring and complaining. I'm still right here. I'm still right here. Why? How am I supposed to feed all these people? How am I? See, he done lost sight. He done lost sight that God has brought him out. He done lost sight that his shoes didn't wear out. He's lost sight of the fact that he has not missed one meal. And everything, I said everything that he needed, God has been preparing. Yeah, every now and then you got to go it by yourself. As we move on, God is, I believe we can. Yeah, God is all powerful and able to provide for all of our needs. Numbers chapter 11, verses 16 through 23. Moses asked a question in 10 through 15. And be careful when you ask God a question, because he is a God that will answer you. Can you prove it, Reverend? Glad you asked the question. The Lord answered Moses, bring me 70 men from Israel known to you. Not 70 men that somebody sent, but 70 men known. Look out in the midst of your congregation, men that you know. Just because he's a male with pants on don't make him a man of God. There is a difference. 70 men known to you as elders and officers of the people. Take them to the tent. Remember, we built the tabernacle and consecrated and set it apart? Take them to the tent of meeting and have them stand there with you. Then I will come down and speak with you there. God is going to come